impressions. That's all I do.
Okay.
You're so good in the commercials.
Yeah.
Granted, you're playing a part of yourself mostly.
Yeah.
Have you had acting lessons and acting? What's your process?
I have not had acting lessons, but I think I've definitely gotten more comfortable. Obviously, I've done a few of them now. And the directors and, obviously a lot of these brands that I work with, I've been with for quite some time now, like 2 to 3 to 4 years. So they make it pretty easy on me. I've shot a lot of stuff over the course of this off season. So I got some cool stuff coming. I think you guys will like it. But I think especially when the commercials and the spots or whatever we're making is tailored to my personality, I think that's what makes it fun and people like it. But I love hearing when fans come up to me and they're like, we like this, we like that, and it makes it fun too. My favorite? I can't pick a favorite. They're all.
Caitlin Clark may have unintentionally exposed a huge revelation, turning what appeared to be a tranquil comeback season into mayhem. Nike collaboration via video leaks. Additionally, the WNBA is currently grappling with a surge of responses that indicate behind closed doors, something significant is taking place. What plans does Nike have then? And why does this seem larger? More than a shoe deal?
Remember this billboard that was put up in Iowa? Well, that's one of the last times that Nike has done anything for Caitlin Clark. They promoted her more in college than they have at all the entirety of the WNBA season. She signed an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that also included her own signature shoe, which honestly, looking at it now, $28 million for 8 years is an absolute steal for this superstar, when a player like Wemby's Nike deal was rumored to be over $100 million. Caitlin has not only had an incredible rookie season, but she has also transformed the WNBA.
Everyone believed that the women's basketball industry had a ceiling. Caitlin Clark then proceeded to walk in with a mix of marketability, exposure, and timeliness that subtly made brands reconsider everything. They believed they were aware of value, because the current situation is more than just an endorsement cycle, but a thorough reevaluation of how the WNBA turns attention into cash.
Who at Nike deserves a raise for their Caitlin Clark campaign? But chop Nike, get the marketing team their stack, because this is so good. First and foremost, firing off the campaign with the tagline, you break it, you own it. I mean, Caitlin Clark, as you will see in the video that they did, has broken every single basketball record. I'm obviously not every single one, I'm paraphrasing. But whoever came up with this concept for the billboard, I want to kiss you. It is just the epitome of
inventiveness. The instant early rumors and leaked images indicated that Nike was getting ready. The issue got worse. Something much more aggressive than a typical athlete collaboration, as the scope of preparation, the campaign's tone, and the reported financial commitment all suggested a long-term effort intended to position. Reactions throughout the league may be explained solely by the fact that Clark is a centerpiece rather than a participant, have varied from calm worry to enthusiasm.
Of the league as a rookie. She was #1 in jersey sales, and all of her collaborations with Wilson sold out in minutes. So why is Nike sleeping on Caitlin? It was reported that Nike wants to prioritize Asia Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star who just won league MVP for the 3rd time. So if that's true, then it's politics. But with that report, they said that we won't see a Caitlin Clark shoe until 2026.
2020. The story's inconsistency with what uninformed spectators think makes this even more intriguing. Just a few months ago, many anticipated that her momentum would level out or possibly slow down after a season marred by injury. However, the opposite has occurred, and in many respects, her absence just increased demand by fostering a sense of expectation that companies are already racing to take advantage of, since anticipation frequently results in higher engagement than constancy. In a setting dominated by the media, yes.
Not only is this probably one of the best commercials we've ever seen, look at the stars she had in there. A lot of y'all probably don't even know who them people was. Like, have there ever been like a season in the WNBA where we've seen not only this many commercials from one player, but just this many commercials, like in general? Like, have we ever seen it? At this point, I should be in one of the commercials. Don't y'all agree?
To convey a clear message, the stolen video did not need to disclose precise numbers, because presentation alone can indicate your intent, and what was observed appeared to be a fully developed ecosystem rather than a cautious deployment. It includes cross-platform visibility, storytelling campaigns, and product releases intended to reach audiences far beyond conventional basketball fans, which is precisely how international sports icons are made instead of merely advertised at this point. The discussion turns from athletics to strategy because once a firm, when Nike makes such a commitment to an athlete, it sets off a chain reaction across the business as rival. Companies are reevaluating their own assets and considering whether distributing funds among several players still makes sense when one person seems to be able to provide disproportionate rewards in terms of revenue, visibility, and engagement, the unsettling reality that many insiders are aware of. However, it is rarely stated explicitly that endorsement markets are based on efficiency rather than justice. Additionally, footprint efficiency continues to exceed expectations in ways that directly into quantifiable business results.
Released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo in her eye. And as you know, Kobe's nickname was the Black Mamba. I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give
the current time feels so acute because of this fact, which widens the gap between collective growth, as well as personal market dominance. Additionally, although both can coexist, their advantages are not necessarily distributed equally, particularly when companies start focusing their resources on a single person who symbolizes the greatest likelihood of a comeback. Additionally, it is the reason behind the notion that companies only desire Caitlin Clark to gain traction, even if it is exaggerated, as perception frequently follows patterns and the current trend demonstrates. Businesses are aligning themselves with her at a pace that feels very different from how they interact with other players. This inevitably calls into question long-term balance, opportunity, and recognition within the league. The most crucial piece of the puzzle, the impending signature, is at the center of all this impetus. Footwear, strong consumer demand is indicated by internal predictions. Otherwise, the danger would simply not support the size of the investment. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of a successful shoe launch, because it necessitates fans to transition from passive to active support, making it a direct test of market strength. The ultimate objective of any endorsement strategy is purchasing behavior. Additionally, if Clark's shoe operates at the degree Nike seems to expect, it will confirm not just her present level of popularity, but also her long-term profitability.
Real life billboard for shooting on this side of the street, and they also installed on the other side board over here, almost as if she's like shooting a 3 that says this is never a long shot. I cannot even emphasize like how perfect that is. Us in the advertising industry have all been taught like the past 7 years, billboards are dead, print media is dead, traditional advertising is dead, it's all on digital. And I just think this is so cool and different.
However, there are also significant risks associated with such release because the same visibility that generates opportunities and amplifies results, implying that any poor performance will be highly lauded, while victory will be subjected to the same level of scrutiny, which is the trade-off associated with being the center of a big brand's approach. That Clark's viewpoint is distinct because her impact is not restricted to conventional basketball audiences, as her popularity spreads to more general cultural discussions. Her trajectory continues to trend higher despite setbacks because of this wider importance. Since injuries may not always reduce interest, even though they can disrupt performance, and in certain situations, by developing a plot that revolves around repentance and return, they even improve narrative attractiveness, which viewers frequently pay special attention to. Consequently, the emphasis has moved away from the events of the previous season and because brands are investing in future potential rather than previous performance. Additionally, Clark's potential continues to be one of the most alluring ideas in the contemporary sports environment, particularly when backed by statistics that continually demonstrate her capacity to draw in and hold the attention of others. The fever of Indiana.
And the WNBA as a whole, they've basically ruined the atmosphere around Caitlin Clark. Okay, All throughout 2024, we heard all about the Caitlin Clark effect, and like I said, the WNBA and even the Indiana Fever, her own organization, they ruined that in 2025. Okay, and if you can. I don't know if you guys have heard, the Indiana Fever tickets are not selling as fast as they did in 2025 and obviously in 2024.
Discussions about endorsement are already showing the effects of this change. Her influence is becoming more and more important in agreements, media attention, and player visibility, indicating that the league is about to enter a stage where individual celebrity power will have a bigger influence on how business is run generally. Dynamics. This suggests that the balance of attention is shifting, but it does not imply that other actors are being disregarded. While these shifts frequently present both possibilities and difficulties, such as greater prominence for one figure can both improve the league and draw attention to inequalities that may need to be dealt with gradually, from a strictly strategic perspective across several channels, which is precisely what Clark has shown. That the leaked video only expedited a process that has been going on since the professional stage, by allowing a larger audience to see it, and it was impossible to sustain that visibility after it reached a certain point. The delusion that all possibilities for endorsements were being dispersed equally, since the market itself had already begun to focus on a specific area,